We're live. Okay, yes, sir. Yes, I'm Brother Talib of Reality Temples Ministry, aka Exodus Operation Mississippi, and I'm assistant to Brother Angel Snup Snup 7. And once again, I'm your soul brother Talib. Today, kicking the ballistics about this government shutdown, and what effect it's going to have on our people, black people who I preferably call dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America, or another preference, which is people soul. However, anyway, with this government shutdown thing, dealing with Donald Trump and his antics and his silliness and what he's doing in terms of keeping this government shutdown going. Uh, you know, and this is by far, I just want you people to realize this is by far the longest government shutdown under any U.S. president in history, including the last previous president that we had, which was Barack Obama, when they been shut down back in 2013 under his administration. But this is definitely the longest shutdown, government shutdown in the history of the United States. And, this should signal off a very serious alarming sound, especially to those of us who are dark skinned descendants of slaves born here in America. Because, you know, right now, as it stands, we see that those in federal employment under the U.S. federal government, especially those that's working for TSA, that's supposed to be guarding our airports throughout the country, far as making sure that unquote terrorists don't get in and all this other stuff or whatever. Well, I have to say this: a lot of them is calling in sick, and a lot of them just simply just saying the hell with working for free. Knowing they not getting paid because of this government shutdown. And as a result, I was even told just last night by someone that it was just affirmed to me that one of the major airports in the country was shut down, which was in Miami, Florida, an airport which I'm familiar with, the Miami International Airport. They said that airport was completely, closed down because a lack of TSA security working up in there. So, now people are, speculating if in fact, that's gonna, you know, uh, open doors for the terrorists to come in any kind of way they want to, to do whatever they do. You know what I'm saying? As far as, wrecking havoc, on this country as well as the population of this country. I mean, we are in a very serious situation here. We've already done enough as a nation, around this world to cause this type of apparent situation to be provoked. So, I mean, unfortunately, whatever happens, in terms of this government shutdown, I mean, hey, I ain't got really too many words to say for that, but the only thing I basically say, which I'm gonna further go into, is that you know, our benefits far as veterans getting checks is being cut off. They're saying that that food stamps will be only handed out throughout the month of February, this coming next month. And they also talking about that WIC, the food program for WIC that exclusively supposed to benefit children in this country is supposed to be depleting far as funds for that program because of this government shutdown. So not only is you taking food out of the mouths of unfortunate or lesser unfortunate adults, but also you're taking the food out of the mouth of children, who have no choice or matter in the situation. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, when it gets to this point, I mean, in regards to us as dark skinned descendants of slaves born here in America, you're certainly going to be affected by this, which is no question. And also in other ways, what's going to come next? They going to cut Social Security, they going to cut SSI, they going to cut Medicaid and Medicare too. I mean, because this guy, Trump, want to supposedly get the money to build this unquote wall, or rather I prefer to say fictitious wall, on the border. So I mean, what do you black people just ask yourselves this question? And I'm also speaking to you in the so-called pro-black conscious community as well. Especially for those of you that say, well, America's gonna fall anyway, but you're not doing nothing to prepare for this. So, in other words, would you gonna fall with America too? That's what that's clearly indicating, and you know, I mean, you people say you didn't expect for Donald Trump to get elected. For those of you that didn't think he was going to get elected, well, he got elected. Now, look at the unexpected as well as what he's doing. Well, he said he was going to put up a wall, but we didn't expect how he was going to do it. But this is the way he's going about doing it. So, I mean, and I mean, it's sad to say, but you waiting on the politicians that's also in the other branches of federal government to do something about it. Well, I mean, honestly, good luck with that too. Because them Republicans, unless they side with them Democrats, them Republicans ain't gonna really do too much or nothing. Now there's some of them that's, starting to get fed up with Trump, but hey, as far as that's concerned, if I was us as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America, I wouldn't really honestly put my trust in that. I mean, hell, the government never really did nothing for us as black people from the inception of slavery, okay? Let's get that straight for real. And for them little civil rights gains or whatever, because of the civil rights bill, the Voting Acts Right bill that was signed, all that stuff, that still ain't protecting us 1,000% from getting our heads blew off by these racist cops or these other racists out here throughout America. You see what I'm saying? And also, too, you know, and it's also not protecting us from other forms of discrimination that's still affecting us as a group of people in this country. So, I mean, how definitely do you think that this government shutdown is going to affect us as well? Well, it's looking like the way things is going, that it's headed for the worst. Now you could keep playing and underestimating this situation. See, because we tend to forget that history always repeats itself throughout the time of humanity. Look at what happened to ancient Babylon. Look at what happened to ancient Greece. Look at what happened to ancient Rome. I mean, ancient Egypt. I mean, and that was supposed to have been a black civilization, right? The greatest civilization on earth, according to the pro-black conscious community, right? But what happened? They failed. Why? Huh? Okay, I'm just saying. So like I said before, Oh, and matter of fact, I wanted to, Great Britain was probably, matter of fact, the last greatest empire behind America. Okay? And what happened to her? She lost all her Commonwealth nations. Look where she at now. I mean, so that should spell clearly the writing on the wall to tell you that America is not exempt from this similar type of situation of falling as an empire. And while you're sitting up here, wallowing off into this madness over sport and play and entertainment and living comfortable in your slave-like oppression going on almost 500 years in this nation, you tend to be, just clearly, you just act like you don't want to, change your condition. And, it's hard for us to even say anything even negative about those dark-skinned people coming from Africa that's fleeing oppression in those nations over there on that continent, or and going and coming over here to America, or going to Europe or somewhere, or to Australia to try to find something better in life for them as people. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? We've never known. See, one thing about them, they've always known a sense of freedom. We've never known any type of sense of freedom because we've always been in this slave-like condition for over 400 years. It's like a dog being trained all his life and don't know no other way to go about how to do things, even if it comes to his own survival or best interest, but to only go to accordingly to how he's been trained. And that is unfortunately the situation of where we as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America stand at. I just have to put it out there like that because that's just simply what it is. And the thing about it is that as far as people, you know what I'm saying, in the conscious community, particularly like the Nation of Islam and certain other groups that similarly always push this separation message like them, or, talk about the fall of America and all this kind of stuff. Well, dang, look what's happening before your eyes. Where is your plan at to combat this? Have nobody heard anything from any of these organizations, who teach that thing about separation of the fall of America. Ain't nobody heard them coming up with any concrete plan to counter this. And I ain't talking about just for a selective group of people. I'm talking about for the whole masses of us all as 44 plus million dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in this country. You see what I'm saying? So the thing about that is that, whatever happens, dealing with this type of situation, is that we're going to either have to do something drastically. Yes, it's getting to that point. We're going to have to plan. I'm not talking about get crazy about it, but plan accordingly in an organized way, but at a drastic pace. Because we don't know how long it's going to be before the ship sink. While we just standing around here and ain't got no type of lifeboat to depend on. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no kind of lifeboat to depend on. But we just standing around here waiting for the ship to sink. So, like I said before, hey, a people like us who've never known freedom, obviously we're scared, we're uncertain. Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. Think about this. When you get ready to take a GED test, or SAT examination test or any type of test for that matter. You're uncertain if you're going to pass, but you're going to do whatever it takes strategically to try to pass that test, right? Well, when it comes to this situation that we are in as a people, we're going to have to take a similar uh, route to deal with this type of situation that we're in. And it's just that simple. It's just that simple. I mean, like I said before, there have been people like in Africa, the Middle East, even in parts of the Caribbean, South Central America, that has been in far worse situations than we've seen in this nation. They break their necks all the time, like you see them Central Americans and Mexicans to just get over here to get in this country to try to find a better way of life. They walking over here. They literally walking to get here. Thousands of pounds, thousands of miles. And the thing, I'm going to tell you something. The thing about it, like I told somebody earlier, it may even have to take some of us to take our chance to cross north of the border to get up out of here. We may have to go toward crossing north of the border to get up out of here. Well, it's crossing south of the border. Because I'm going to tell you something. When our chattel slave ancestors, in this country, took major chances on their life just to get to freedom, some of them made it to Canada, as well as some of them that made it to Mexico. Okay? And for those of you that say, well, I wouldn't go to Mexico, look, let me tell you this here. When it comes to a drastic situation, humans would do anything it take in their right mind. You see what I'm saying? To make their situation better. I mean, we are in a burning house, like Martin Luther King Jr. said. So, I mean, what are you gonna do? Stay in the house while the house is still on fire? And you just gonna stay in there and burn too? Burn along with it? Or are you gonna get the hell out? And I mean, that's just the bottom line. This is the situation that we're facing. This is the situation that we are facing right now. I mean, and especially those of you that watch the news and keep up with what's going on with the politics of this country, should even be able to recognize that. This is serious. We are in a serious state. But listen, I got our brother Angel Snup 7, aka Talib Ibn Rad here, on a live hangout. And I would like to go ahead for at least a minute before I close this out, or rather before we move on further in me closing this video out. I want to, pass the mic over to him to let him speak his few words on this matter, which I'm pretty sure he has some things to say in regards to this. Yes, brother, how you doing?
I'm all right, brother. Give me a minute here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man, this situation is definitely serious. I mean, this is nothing to play with. This is really nothing to play with. We wilding off in our oppression, and we thinking because, like among some of us, we got money. Whether we the JCs, the Beyoncés, the LeBron James, the Oprah Winfreys, you know what I'm saying, the Michael Jordans, the Floyd Mayweather Juniors, the Williams tennis stars, and all these other different type of people that we, worship as personalities. You know, I mean, listen, let me tell you this here. It that what they got could be stripped away from them real quick by this same government.
Yes.
Okay, that I'm speaking about. They did it back in the 1930s depression. And if you have any family members that lived back during the 1930s depression that had money in the banks, which they some of them did, ask them, and they'll tell you when they froze their bank accounts, they never saw a penny of that money again. And with this current president is doing, could lead to something just like that. So keep playing games. This is serious. I don't care what kind of financial status you under. They could snatch all that up under your feet quicker than a blinking eye. So, I mean, yeah, go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, I have a question for you from the chat room. For Black Righteous Folks Home says, so are you going to go to Mexico?
You know what? Like I said before, any drastic situation, and listen, this wouldn't be the first or last time in human history, period. You know, but leading to this to your question, sir, or whoever you are, yes, I would. In a situation that would get to that point, yes, I would. And you know what? And I tell you what, once I get to Mexico, it's not necessary that I would stay there, but at least that would be a stopping ground for me to rejuvenate myself so that I can make the strategic moves I need to make for the betterment of my survival or my family's survival. And that's the route that hopefully you would be taking, as well as millions of us as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America. So yes, to your question, yes. And even if I decide to stay in Mexico, there are parts of Mexico that's livable. All of Mexico is not cartel. It's not cartel jungles. All Mexico is not cartel jungles where they killing over drugs and all this and territory and all that. You know, see, this narrative is always being promoted by America because they really don't want us to leave outside the country to find out certain things for ourselves anyway. And if you are in the black conscious community, which I assume you are from the name of where you at on the comment section, you will understand that you can't totally trust this American media anyway. So, I mean, and I've talked to people from Mexico. I live around Mexicans. Okay? I've heard the good and bad about Mexico. Okay? I've even researched on social media about Mexico. And there are parts of Mexico that you can go to if you want to be out the way of stuff like the riffraff going on in places like Tijuana, on the border near San Diego, California, where I used to live, or, places like that. It's places in Mexico you could go to where you ain't got to worry about none of that. Just like they got metropolitan riffraff type of areas and pockets here in America, they got the same thing in Mexico, just like in any other country. But they paint Mexico the way they paint Mexico because it was always, especially America's agenda, to keep Mexico on a lower standard of on a lower economic standard level, to where Mexico would never become as powerfully economic as America is. That's why America destroyed Mexico a long time ago in the first place. So I hope that answered your question. But brother, do you, anything else anybody got to say in the comment section regarding this?
No, we just want to welcome those in the chat room. We want to welcome those who are listening, and of course, we are simulcasting. Actually, we're on 3 channels right now. We're live on your channel. We're live here on Reality's Temple on Earth Internet Ministry channel, and also we're also live on Facebook. My Facebook, Reality's Temple on Facebook. So I'm just trying to set this back up again. Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, didn't expect to spend a long time. Just wanted to holler at everybody this morning. Brother Talib wanted to bring this topic to us this morning. He called me and I said, yeah, we can go ahead and put our little spin on this government shutdown. Like the brother said, it's affecting. Oh, you from Georgia, Brother Charles from Georgia. Okay, how you doing there, Brother Charles from Georgia? And of course, for Black Righteous, I wonder what Syria is. Syria usually catch all our live broadcasts, but you know I have all these channels. Syria can't keep it with everything, I guess. And you know these channels, the live stream capability was shut down, was disabled for I don't know how long. So we just now getting back on business on this channel. And so yeah, shouts out to everybody in the chat room. Shouts out to everybody that's listening. Shouts out to Facebook. Shouts out to those who will listen to this program after it's been recorded. We thank you so much. And I just wanted to in the description box, you've been listening to Brother Talib, Assistant Minister Talib. Make sure that you subscribe to his channel. The link is in the description box. Make sure that you subscribe to our soul sister, Noble Levine. Her information is in the description box. Make sure that you subscribe to Operation Exodus Mississippi. The link is in the description box, and that YouTube channel is very easy to find. And when we are not able to broadcast from this platform or the other channel, Reality's Temple on Earth, then we will be broadcasting from Operation Exodus, Mississippi. But I prefer to talk the way that we do here and certain topics on these other channels because Operation Exodus, Mississippi, the Mississippi campaign has nothing to do with personal opinion, our religious beliefs, none of those type of things. So I would like to just keep Operation Exodus, Mississippi strictly for Mississippi campaign business, if y'all don't mind. Okay. And I would hope also that you would also add your name to the email list, and our email address is in the description box also, so that we can keep in contact with everybody. Add your name to the list, and hopefully there's something that you can do to help us in this this movement, this concept, this idea, this Mississippi campaign, because it's more important than ever that we need to do this. And of course, we don't have to do a damn thing. We don't have to do that. So if we decide not to do nothing, then we get what's coming to us. Of course, you know, this ministry, we're not religious. You know, I'm not into religion and spirituality or whatever. However, there are things, I do come from that background. I come from a Muslim background. I come from a Christian background. I come from a belief in God background, and I am familiar with the books Bible and the Quran. And there are many things in those books that give us good lessons. And one of the things that you will get from both Bible and Quran is that the God warns the righteous that they should separate themselves from the wicked. I forgot the exact quote because, as you said, I really don't study the Bible and Quran like I used to. But those of you, you know your stuff, so you know where I'm coming from. When it talks about that, it talks about or suggests to the righteous that they should separate themselves from the wicked and not participate in her sins. Now, I think also brother assistant minister made reference to this also. Whereas we are on a ship, and that ship is called the United States of America. And I know that many of you are hoping and you're praying that America falls down. You want the destruction of America. You are in a rush. I want America destroyed. But the problem is, we are on this boat. We are on this ship. And many of you think that spaceships are going to come out the sky. You think somehow that you're going to be saved or whatever. But that's not what your scripture said. That's not what the Bible said. The Bible said, and the Quran said, that you physically have to leave. You're going to have to use your feet, drive your car, or whatever it takes. You are going to have to, on your own, you're going to have to separate yourself from the wicked. To my knowledge, the scriptures don't say nothing about spaceships or aliens or spooks or nothing is going to come out of the sky to save you. It didn't even happen in the scriptures. Moses was given an order that he must take his people out of Egypt. They had to on their own. There was no special camels. There was no special birds or Brother Ricardo was talking about, the Quran talks about flying donkeys. There's nothing. You gonna have to leave. So if America is on its way to a fall, or if this ship is about to sink, then you are on it. If it sinks, then you're gonna sink. Unless you leave, unless you get off the boat. We was just talking about earlier. I have been with people driving crazy in a car, and I'm like, hey, what's up? What's up with this? Oh man, it's all right, because they're driving unsafe. Now, either you pull over, or I'm going to grab the steering wheel. That's the situation that we are in. Either you make these people pull over so you can get out, or you grab the steering wheel. When we talk about the Mississippi campaign, we are talking about grabbing the steering wheel. When you're talking about the Mississippi campaign, we are talking about, even though this Titanic is sinking, we're talking about getting on a lifeboat. The Mississippi campaign is a lifeboat on a ship that is sinking. Because you gotta do it. So if Esau, I don't know why, I think that's what they call, I think they call a white man Esau, Hebrew Israelite. I don't know how that stuff works. I don't know the difference between an Edomite and an Esau or none of this stuff. But if you think, if God is going to destroy the white man, if God is going to bring down America, and you're still here, and we are also told that when the sun shines, it shines on everybody. When it rains on everybody. Rain don't care if you're black, white, Asian, crippled, crazy, they don't care. Rain falls on everybody. The sun shines on everybody. So when you talk about God's wrath coming down on America, it makes no difference. That's why your God is telling you that you got to separate, because when I bring the rain, when I bring the storm, not realistic that we are going to separate. So from this platform, we're not talking about separation. We're talking about isolation to create a boat, because a lifeboat is actually on the ship. However, as the boat begins to sink, you throw the lifeboat in the water, and you can save yourself from the sinking ship. And perhaps there's a possibility that you can save yourself, but you have separated yourself from the ship that is sinking. You need a lifeboat. You need something to climb on. You need to take control of the steering wheel, because you got a driver that's out of his mind. That's driving recklessly. So if we don't attempt to separate ourselves, I prefer to say the first step is to isolate yourself, to put yourself in a position, because this is another thing, brothers and sisters. When you're talking about on a lifeboat, what sense or how long will you survive on a lifeboat when you don't have any food? You don't have fresh water. So yeah, you save yourself from the immediate threat of sinking into the ocean, but you still got a problem of survival. And how long are you going to survive if that lifeboat has no food, no fresh water, and the things that you need? And you have no idea where land is. How are you going to get out this? Who's going to rescue you? It's a lot of things. We don't have a vision. We're not looking. How are you going to save yourself? Because if we're not putting ourselves in a position to actually save our life, the only thing we've done is just postpone the inevitable, which is you going to drown in the ocean. So the Titanic itself goes down in the ocean, and you're on a lifeboat. How are you going to continue to survive? So this is why it's important, or the Mississippi campaign is important, because it brings us an answer to all these different things. In fact, the Mississippi campaign is not only a lifeboat, but actually it can be the beginnings of us building our own Titanic that takes afloat. That's what we are in the process of wanting to do. And there is no plan, there is no other concept or idea out there that can even come close to the Mississippi campaign. I'm just an ordinary person. Brother Tony is just an ordinary person. So we are limited in what we can do. But we have the foundation, this Mississippi campaign, we have the foundation that we need in order so that we can save our life on this boat, on this lifeboat. We have to understand, what are we going to do to survive? So, there are many persons here that suffer because of the government shutdown, and this is what I don't understand. You have government employees. When you work for the government, I'm very sure you know this was not the first government shutdown. But see, this is how people do. When things are doing good, they screw around. They don't think about the next government shutdown. Many people live beyond their means. Because some of these people, these government employees, they make real good money. They're not making $12,000 to $20,000 a year. These people are making $40,000, $50,000, some $1,000 a year. But many of us want to live a certain way, which that's fine. But at the same time, the government might shut down. We're my things together. I keep canned food, dried food, dried fruits and vegetables and things of that nature. Always keep that on hand. Because I'm just as smart as the ant, just as smart as the bee. So what are we going to do? You want to cry and pray to God for the destruction of America, and you're not ready to survive. You depend on America. So when the ship sinks, you're going down with it also. Don't cry to God. Don't blame God. Blame yourself, because God in your scriptures tell you very clearly, you have to leave. I'm not coming to get you. When God gave instructions to Lot and his family, you need to get out of Sodom and Gomorrah. He did not say, I'm coming to get you. He told Lot and his family, you need to roll. Y'all need to get out of here. If you stay, you're going to get what I have planned for Sodom and Gomorrah. You got to leave. Ain't nobody going to come save you and do nothing.
So late.
That's just the bottom line. So don't tell me that you believe in God and you think that a spaceship or some alien or something going to come out of the sky and save you. The God in these scriptures don't talk like that. God told you, I ain't coming for you. You got to get out. If you have to walk 2,000 miles, whatever you have to do, you have to do it. So, I really don't, myself personally, I really don't talk a whole lot about the government. I don't talk about the news. I could care less about R. Kelly and these news events or whatever. The primary focus for us here on this platform, the primary focus of having the Mississippi campaign is so that we can do something about it. Not just run around talk about it, do something about it. You can talk about America falling, so what you gonna do? Because you out here with the devil. You gonna die with the devil too. And even in your scriptures it talks about, you know, when the devil was created and he left God, the devil took a certain amount of angels with him. So these devils, you gonna go down with these folks, with these devils. He gonna take us with them. Unless you can separate, get out. Get out of her. But many of you, you're comfortable. You know, you like the car that you drive, that beautiful college degree that you got hanging on your wall. You're just like Lot's wife, because the God told Lot's family, when you leave Sodom and Gomorrah, do not look back. But as they left Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot's wife, she had to take a look and peek at those cities. And then when she turned to take a peek, she was turned into a pillar of salt. Because there was something in that evil, there was something in that wickedness that she really liked. All these pro-black folks keep talking this stuff about how wicked America is and blah, blah, blah. But they love the American dollar. They love that money. Give it to my Patreon. What you gonna do with the money? So I can buy a Mercedes Benz. So I can buy a Jaguar. So I can look good. So I can be like the white folks that's rich. Because that's your idea of success. You have the same mentality as your slave master, and you deserve to go to hell with him. So when your pro-black ass is stuck on this Titanic, good riddance to bad rubbish, you deserve to die right along with your slave master. Bye-bye. And a lot of these suckers that y'all hold on to, that don't have your good interests in mind, that don't have a lifeboat for you to climb on, all of you will be on that boat going down with the devil in this ocean. And Allah and Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey and the RBG Nation and none of this stuff is going to stop you from drowning in water after the ship broke down. So you know something? Go on YouTube and watch, because they just took, a lot of people just took the clip of that famous movie by, I think, what's his name? James Cameron, that movie called Titanic. Just watch the clip of the boat as it broke up and started sinking into the water. Go ahead and watch that, because that's going to be you and me. Ain't that fun? Watch how the ship starts sinking. Watch how the ship starts sinking. See how the boat start cracking and falling apart and people get tossed everywhere. That's going to be us. That's the movie. That's going to be a reality. Me personally, I'm going to be heading to the border, maybe to the rural parts of Mexico someday or Canada. Because you got to get off this. If you don't want to go to Mississippi and create a lifeboat and put on a life vest, then you might really enjoy the ride of sinking into the ocean. That's where you're on your way. And Allah and Yahweh and all these gods that y'all have, nothing's going to save you, because these gods told you need to get the hell out. That's just the bottom line. Get the hell out. But you don't want to help. You don't want to help the Mississippi campaign. You want to talk, and you want to tell me, go, brother, preach, brother Tommy. Go ahead and say, I don't need no cheerleaders. I don't need no cheerleaders. Now, personally, I know what I need to do myself. I know what to do. Because like Brother Talib said, hey, I'll be heading to the border, getting the hell out of here. Hey, Brother Talib, I'm going to do it with or without a passport.
I know that's right.
I don't think about that passport stuff. I'm not thinking about that passport stuff.
Hey, ask them Hondurans and the Mexicans, do they give a damn about a passport when they trying to get over here in the U.S. side of the border?
They ain't talking about no damn passport.
Right, when they trying to get over here on the U.S. side of the border, they sure don't.
None of them have no passport.
Exactly.
And you got 2,000 miles of border. You ain't no security in the world going to be able to stop nobody, from coming across that border.
Exactly.
There's a way you can get across.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, I just want to interject and then let you keep going. I want to tell you too. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this. Like some Mexicans still who have been from this country still end up coming back into this country. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. There are people from the United States who have been deported from Canada.
Yeah.
That don't give a damn. That will go back into Canada if the situation keep getting that drastic.
That's
Because
right.
they rather be on that safer side than to be messed up on this side.
Yes. See, this just like Brother Talib said earlier, this nation is on its way to oblivion. The only thing that can save this nation is what the scriptures say, righteous behavior. But we know that it's not going to do that. The only thing that could have saved Rome was righteous behavior. They couldn't do that. The only thing that could have saved Egypt was what we call righteous behavior. You don't have to be a believer in God to be a righteous person. Now, I don't know, there are some people that believe that you have to believe in God to be righteous. That's a lie. Believers in God don't have a copyright to righteous behavior. I also question a God that just because I don't acknowledge this God, but I'm doing everything that this God wants. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm not a whoremonger. I don't do it. I do everything that the Bible really says. I just don't believe in God. That makes me a righteous person. I question a God that will punish me just because I don't acknowledge Jesus or Muhammad or whoever. I question the mentality of a God that will question me and want to punish me when I am actually practicing righteous behavior. I wouldn't even want to be with a God like that, because that God is unjust. That God is just as wacky as the people that we live here with. That's an unjust God. Well, you don't believe in Jesus. So what? My behavior is probably better than the average Christian. But because they believe in God and they accept Jesus, but yet and still, they some of the most dirtiest ass people on the planet, they'll go to heaven, and I'm doing what God wants me to do. I'm just not acknowledging the God, and you gonna send me to hell? The hell with that God. God, you can go there. You can go to hell. That type of God I don't need. Y'all should question a God with that type of mentality. Because that's not just. That's not right. Somebody who's a murderer, but at the last minute they repent, they'll go to heaven, but they're a murderer, and who knows what else they done. Here I am, never murdered nobody, doing what God wants me to do. I just don't acknowledge God. I just don't talk about Jesus, but I'm supposed to go to hell. And y'all think that that's right? You think that's right? That's unjust. How you gonna accept it? That's that type of God I don't know nothing to do with. Because this God should understand that I am surrounded by all kinds of gods. I mean, these gods is endless. I don't know what religion to believe in. I don't know what God to believe in. You gonna fault me because you put me in a world of confusion? Really? You don't blame me, and you the one, this God put me in this world of confusion. Really? I'm gonna tell you, that type of God, I don't want nothing to do with. The hell with that. But again, look, just like Brother Talib said, this is very serious. You can take it, like Elijah Muhammad said, you can take it or let it alone. And we suffer the consequences of our action. If somebody tells you, don't walk there, there's a hole there. It don't look like a hole there to me. You don't tell me what to do. Then you walk there and fall down this damn hole and kill yourself. Whose fault was it? It's your fault. So we are in a situation where we have been told by people and your own scriptures, those of you who believe in scripture, your God is telling you that you have to separate yourself from the wicked. But I hear Christian people talk about all the time. I'm an American citizen. And they claim to be American. This nation, this country is against your God. It's against righteous behavior. And housing discrimination still exists. Employment discrimination still exists. But these people supposed to be afraid of some God? I question a God that's friends to these people.
Hey, say that again. Hey, matter of fact, ain't that one of they gods that was supposed to be the one that justified the reason for over 400 years of slave bondage here in America as a people?
What's that again? I
mean,
understand.
according to their teachings in Christianity, they gods said they used the Bible to justify why we were supposed to have been in slavery for all those years.
Yeah.
So, and
I don't need any cheerleaders. I don't need nobody to come on here and talk about preach, brother, preach, brother, preach. No, I need you to help us in this campaign. I need us to promote and get our people to know that this exists, because they cannot make a choice about something they don't know they have a choice about. So the number one priority we need to do right now is promote. And any skills that you have out there, some of you have skills in marketing, some of you have skills in campaigns, and whatever that you can do, bring that, let me know. Bring that skill so that we can get this train on the tracks and get it to rolling. Because if we have all this mess. But they like this society. They love the money. They go in their pockets and take out the dollar bills with George Washington's face on it and whatever. They like this stuff. It's nothing but a front street. Let me tell y'all something. I don't like nothing about this nation. I don't care about your money. I don't care about your big houses, your mansions, and your cars. I don't care about none of it. What makes me rich is when people come to my chat room. What makes me rich is a friendship with Brother Talib. What makes me rich is when people do right. That's what makes me rich. What makes me rich is if I'm able to go out into an environment and don't have to worry about getting shot in the head or get robbed by somebody. That's what makes me rich. What makes me rich is I'm able to eat. I don't have to be greedy. I just want enough to eat for myself. I don't have to hoard things. You live in a nation of people that hoard stuff. You can only drive one car. Why do some of these people have 10 cars? You know, they got 3 or 4 houses. All this nonsense. Greed. As long as you have that mentality, you deserve to be destroyed. And sooner or later, using greed as an example, when people are greedy, when you overeat, what happens to you? You get to the point where you blow up and your heart can't take it and you die. Look at people when they are obese. All kinds of boils, all kinds of sickness start happening. You know, you look really terrible. And that's what the United States look like. It's obese. All kinds of boils, all kinds of sickness. You can't even be a child in America. Somebody trying to get your little booty as a child. Little children can't walk down the street. They can't play. You got some sick idiot looking at them. Want to rape them.
Shooting an AK-47 and they getting caught in the way of bullets flying back and forth past their head.
All this kind of madness. We can isolate ourselves and create an environment that's better for us with this Mississippi campaign. I have been waiting for those people to come because I'm ready to debate. I thought Alquan was going to bring it last night. But he stayed cool and cool, calm, and collect. And that was very wise on his part. There's nobody that can offer nothing better than the Mississippi campaign. We need to do this before it's too late. It might be too late already. Who knows? But we need to try. So help us, not cheer us on. Help us make this a reality for us, not just for me. Because believe me, you don't have to do it for me. I'll be headed to the border. You don't have to do it for me. We need to do it for us so that we can do things, so that we can have a chance to survive as this damn boat begins to sink. We should have wanted to get off this boat a long time ago. It's never been good for us. Never. There's no time has this Titanic been good for us. We should have been wanting to get on a lifeboat and get the hell off this boat a long time ago. But just like Brother Talib said, we're so used and comfortable in our oppression. You know, we're like a dog waiting for dog biscuits, for our master to throw us dog biscuits. And let us open the door so that we can run outside and pretend to be free. You know, I call us the backyard Negro. You know how dogs do? They live in the house and then you open up the back door and they run outside the back door. They act like they're free. You're not free, little doggy. You open little doggy, you just went into the backyard. You still locked up. You're not free. But the little dog thinks that the dog is free. Beyonce thinks she's free. Jay-Z thinks he's free. Oprah Winfrey and Barack Obama and the list goes on. They think they're free because they in the backyard. But if they were free, they wouldn't need a passport. And ask their master, can I go over here, Massa? Can I go over there? If he was free, then you would have to obey their laws if you think their laws is unjust. But you gotta go to court. Massa, that law ain't right, Massa. You ain't doing that, Massa. Massa, why you like that, Massa? I'm scratching your head and you don't itch and fumbling around. Then you call yourself a man. You don't make no laws that these other people obey. The Negro don't make not one law that other people obey.
And respect.
And respect. Not one. Now you can't even give nobody a jaywalking ticket. And then you wonder why the sisters look at us and don't respect us as men. Hell, I don't respect us as men. I don't. Very pathetic. I mean, some of us talk all big and tough or whatever. You don't impress nobody because the only thing the cracker got to do is come and say, "Why don't you sit your ass down, shut up." Okay. Why you talk to me like that, Massa? I'm gonna write a grievance against you, Massa. I'm gonna take you to court, Massa. You're a bad Massa.
Man.
You racist, Massa. You ain't supposed to be racist, Massa. You know, racist ever since we noticed the cat. So what? But Massa changed. When did Massa change? Massa ain't never changed. What they say, a leopard don't change the spots or something like that? When did Massa change? If Massa changed, how come y'all still singing, "We shall overcome, we shall"? This is 2019. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm pretty sure before the year's out, somebody's gonna be singing, "We shall overcome." I thought Massa changed. I'm pretty sure before the year's out, one of these old cracker cops and shot somebody in the head again. Before the year's out. Massa ain't changed. And I don't even want Massa to change. The one that needs to change is you and me. We should have common sense enough when somebody's trying to cause us harm to get the hell away from them. If you don't, then don't expect to. When they shoot your ass down the street, don't expect me to cry. Whatever they do to us, don't expect no tears to come from me. I'm tired of crying for your ass. You want to be here with these peckerwoods that's racist? Then you won't get what's coming to you. You don't want to isolate yourself and really be serious about this Mississippi campaign, and something happened to your happy ass, then so be it. Don't expect me to cry for you. What that old song? Don't cry for me, Argentina. So don't look for no tears. Don't look for no tears from me. I did my crying a long time ago. And these niggas ain't worth crying for. You want to lay up here with these suckers, and you know they have the potential to murder your ass. You want to still lay with them, and then when they murder, I'm supposed to say, "Oh goodness, that ain't right." The hell with you. If you don't like that, take your happy ass off. Move out. I'm not going to continue to have empathy for a damn fool. Y'all, a damn fool that want to lay up here knowing these people could kill you. So with that said, y'all, that's it for the time being. And again, I want to thank those of you in the chat room. I want to thank those who are listening. I want to thank Facebook. I just want to thank all of us. And we need to really, truly get serious and stop tripping off these pro-black conscious mindset teaching, because they've been around for a long time. Thousands and thousands of people believe in all that stuff, and they ain't going nowhere. We need to find a different path. We need to do something different. these are things that's taking us nowhere. I done it. I was a Christian, took me nowhere. I was a Muslim, took me nowhere. I was pro-black and all this other stuff, these teachings I was all into, just like a lot of you, didn't get me nowhere. And I'm not like you guys. I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I want to be on a winning team. I don't like being a loser. I don't want to be a loser pretending to be a winner. That's what some of these people are. Feel good stuff. Dude, why are you talking like that? You lost. But they still bragging like they won. No, dude, you lost the basketball game. You did not win. A pretend win. No, when I win, it's for real, and people are going to respect you because they know that your win is real. So with that said, y'all, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you for spending a little time with us here at the Reality Temple on Earth Ministry. And I hope that you will support this effort, Mississippi Campaign, and send us an email, get on the email list, subscribe in the description box, subscribe to Brother Talib, Sister Noble. Shouts out to our wonderful sister, Ann X. Got to shout her out. I mean, she's really doing the do.
And our sister Rashida Strober.
Oh yeah, the sister Rashida. Oh yeah, no doubt. Hey, where the brothers at that I can shout out?
Brother Gary. Brother Gary.
Oh yeah, Brother Gary. Brother Gary. Who else? Hey, where the men at?
Oh, Brother Daniel.
Who? Oh, Brother Daniel. Yeah, Brother Daniel, yeah. And also I've been talking to our brother David Brayboy, known him for years. He says he's on the soul train, so we're going to be listening. We're going to be talking to him in a little while, and he's ready to take action now. So we are doing things. We're getting ready to get this train on the track and roll. We got to try to do something. It might be too late right now, but we got to do what we can. If time permits, we might mess around and pull this off. Who knows? And with your help, that just makes the chance of pulling it off even more. With that said, as Dr. Cornelius always used to tell us, until next time, brothers and sisters, Facebook, the chat room, all of you who are in the listening audience now and after this video is put up, as important, we are told to say, I wish us love, peace, and
soul.
Next time, y'all. We out. We out at 5,000. Peace.
Yes, sir.